In the mid-'80s and '90s, rap became a platform for artists like A Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, NWA, Wu-Tang Clan, to bring attention to issues facing the black community. Norman Anderson, who is known as Normski, was a young black photographer hired to capture these emerging stars as they travel around the world.
His new book is called Norman Normski, The Man with the Golden Shutter, and Norman Normski Anderson joins us now live. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Robin. Nice to have you in London with me.
Yeah, pleasure to talk to you. So it's so interesting. You were one of the first photographers to get access to some of these artists in their first performances in the UK, correct?
Yeah, that is correct, actually. Yeah, in that time, you say like the mid to early 80s, they were all arriving for the first time. We called it the American Invasion, but yeah, I was there. I was one of the only photographers that was currently involved in the hip-hop scene when it was really just emerging. So I was very lucky to catch them in the genesis of their careers, some of them of which have obviously blown into huge megastars and some have disappeared.
Yeah, so as we look at maybe a picture of Run DMC, what are you trying to capture? Is there a strategy that goes into it versus if you were taking a picture of a sports person or something else?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, yeah, there is a big difference because the whole subculture of hip hop, you know, is really a street kind of vibe. You know, sports is part of hip hop in the sense of the dancing element, but I think what I'm doing with the way I take photographs is I try and be part of the scene. I was part of the scene as it emerged in the UK. You know, when I was lucky enough to get close enough to Run DMC, I turned up like one of them. I'm a hip hopper. I'm a b-boy from the UK. And I think that they saw lights. I mean, in that particular shot, that's actually backstage at the Royal Albert Hall at the first of the DMC DJ Mixing Championships, which is a global phenomenon now. But they were special guests on that. And, you know, and I kind of basically got my way into the back area because I said, you know, I'm the guy for the shots and they let me in. And what I'm getting there is them in their real, if you like, in their real essence, rather than on stage just performing. I try and like to get a reportage. I try and get a personal and honest feel in the eyes.
And De La Soul, I think, is our next picture. I think record executives were surprised that white people really took to this. What was the case in England? Was it the same?
Did you say white people?
Yes.
Well, you know, I would say that in a way, we are much more multicultural in the UK, I think, than the US. So by the time, you know, De La Soul were arriving, which is '89, everybody was into hip hop. It wasn't a white or a black thing or, you know, a multiracial thing. It was really just a youth movement. And De La Soul, I think, with their whole Daisy Age, native tongues, which is coming from an Afrocentric point of view, but it was really, really encompassing the peacefulness and the love of our people, rather than just necessarily street culture as we know it, because they came with a different flow. They came with not so much the bravado of big trainers and you know, jewelry, but more of an organic and a more natural flow with the whole course of nature, the native tongues, which combines of, you know, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, Jungle Brothers, you know, coming from an Afrocentric point of view. But yeah, I think that, you know, maybe all white people throughout the whole world might have well been surprised that, you know, a lot of black youth have got a lot of talent and have got a lot to say. And so, you know, I wouldn't put race as such a big part of the playing card out here in the UK.
And let's scroll through some of these great pictures you've taken. Here's one we have of LL Cool J, and I think we're going to follow that up of one with Queen Latifah here. Tell me what your experience was like meeting LL Cool J and Queen Latifah.
LL Cool J, first time I ever met him on his first journey, 1986, I believe, Def Jam, Raising Hell Tour, Run DMC and stuff. You know, I was like anyone else would be. I was quite, I was incredibly impressed and overwhelmed at how huge an artist he was for such a regular looking guy to me. But, you know, he was quite, he wasn't the easiest person to photograph because he's quite a personality. But in saying that, on that particular shot, he's renowned for his, you know, his rapping skills and the many albums he's done. He's now renowned for his acting. But at that time, we never really ever saw LL Cool J as a DJ. Yeah. And in that photograph, that's in the week of when they came in 1987, which is when he really lands as a huge artist on the Def Jam label. And I've caught him, which I like to do, being a homeboy having fun with his colleagues. And in the moment of that shot, it is actually Flavor Flav from Public Enemy and his own DJ Bobcat, who they flew over for that massive tour that he did, which pretty much, you know, brought hip hop to the UK on an epic level. But that's the kind of photograph I like. You know, it's not what you're normally going to see of these artists. And he was actually live on Radio London, which is Dave Pearce's radio Rap Academy radio show, which was a very big part of the culture here in the later 80s, getting us out. And so, you know, I mean, that was part of my remit, was to always try and be in the group with the guys as one of them, not so much a photographer being sent to take photographs, but a passionate lover of the art itself, and who just so happened to have a camera at the right time and was in the right places.
That's great. That's
Some great pictures. For more, you can check out normskiphotography.com or follow Norman on social media. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Norman.
That's been a pleasure, Larry and Robin. Thank you so much. And good morning, Chicago.
Thanks.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Time is tricky. It's tricky.